Well, hi Cheryl, how are you?
I'm good, Mary. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Fine, thank you. Nice morning here, a little getting warm, and that's what we like.
Sunshine.
Sunshine, and we hear sprinklers running, which we don't usually hear at Migis, but we just had that sod lawn laid out, so that's kind of fun.
Hi.
I understand that you just completed, is it 14?
14 years. It'll be 14 in August, actually. My 14th Leadership Maine class, yes.
Wow, wow. And it's a wonderful organization and a wonderful mission that class has, and I'm sure the ripple effect in Maine has been astonishing, really. So I congratulate you on your work and your mission. Mission is the word, I think. And we're very pleased that you've visited Migis Lodge frequently for these.
Every year since
Every year.
2000. May of 2000 was our first.
How did you happen to find Migis Lodge or choose Migis Lodge or however that worked out for you?
There's a fellow called Mike Garino who is a Maine guide. And his wife, Kelly, used to run the Leadership Maine program. And when we decided to do a real closing retreat with an overnight, we were having a lot of difficulty finding just the right place because we start out with a very rugged opening retreat in a real camp. You know, it's platform tents and, sometimes raccoons and moose and mice running around. And the end, we really wanted it to kind of be icing on the cake. Something still out in the woods away from where you would normally be, but that would be really lovely, where people would feel very special and feel embraced and be able to celebrate and be warm if it was still
let me
cold.
think if I can think of a place like that.
And so that's how we found Migis, and we've been coming ever since.
Wow, that's delightful.
Yeah.
Delightful. So in the best Maine tradition, it was kind of word of mouth, and somebody knew somebody who had been...
Exactly. That's how it should always work, especially with Leadership Maine. That's the whole purpose of it, to connect people, to build a very strong network where people really know each other, they understand each other, they know each other really well, and they're not afraid to reach out and say, wow, I know this person can do this better than I can. I'm going to give them a call, see if they can help my team learn how to do that better. It was great that we found it that way.
So by the time they've arrived here, they've spent a year doing things together, and how many have typically come to your retreats? Yeah.
The program starts in June with an orientation, and then we have a 3-day opening retreat in September. And we have 45 to no more than 47 in a class.
Participants, okay.
Yes, and so they're with us for 13 and a half days over the course of a year. And it culminates with the 2-day closing retreat here at Migis. That's the glue.
That's the glue.
That is the glue.
So I assume you also have your meals here while you're here.
Oh, yes, we do. Yes, we do, and that's, I don't even know if it's my first or my second favorite thing. The meals are spectacular. We always have fresh lobster, and with the lobster we might have filet mignon, or we might have lamb, or we might have duck, or whatever, and a beautiful 5-course meal that is just perfection. Better than anything that you could buy in downtown Portland. And as you know, Portland is a foodie place.
Yes.
And Migis it could compete with the best of the best. And I continue to tell my husband about it to the point where we've actually come here in the summertime for a meal just so I could show him
Oh, good.
what it was really like at Migis.
Now, do you plan menus ahead of time? Do you speak with the chef, or does Robin kind of, or do you kind of have it laid out?
I absolutely trust that it's just going to be phenomenal. We're only here for 2 days, and it starts with kind of a light breakfast, continental kind of a breakfast the first day, and then we have a barbecue right on the lakefront, which is always phenomenal. And it's not just a barbecue. I'm not talking hamburgers and hot dogs. I'm talking swordfish and special chicken that's marinated in something different, so it tastes wildly better than anything you've ever had at a barbecue before. And fresh, different kinds of salads, and then the beautiful apple or blueberry or apple blueberry buckle kind of dessert that's there at the end with fresh watermelon and the brownies. Oh my God! The brownies are to die for, and I don't use that term lightly, but I mean they look like brownies, but when you taste them, they're like the richest fudge that you've ever eaten. It's like that hot fudge that your mom used to make that you used to put over really cold vanilla ice cream. It's that flavor that you hardly ever get. I mean, brownies are usually dry. They're not real good. These are just, I could just take the whole bunch home and say, oh, gee, everybody ate.
We should talk to Charity. Charity.
Yeah, yes.
The baker extraordinaire. Sometimes she's downstairs in her bake shop so much she doesn't get to hear. Well, we do pass along though, what people tell us. So, do you find the workspace accommodating to your needs?
Oh, it's fabulous. We're in the boulders while we're working, so we do several things in boulders. We do we divide the group into groups of 10 or a little bit more if there's a little more than 40 in the group. And they each have a project that they have to present as part of the closing retreat that they've been working on all year long.
Oh.
And so they set the front of the room up however they would like, and then we have these beautiful tables that are, white, covered in white tablecloths, very comfortable chairs with these great lamps that come down, like the kind that you would see in an old-fashioned pool room, but there's like dozens of them. So the lighting is really perfect, and the fire's always going, so if it's cool, it's nice and warm in there. And then the last day we do what we call stand and delivers. Part of the goal of Leadership Maine is to really help people to find their voice, to really determine where their passion lies and how they want to engage others to follow them. And so we work with them a lot at the opening retreat to kind of frame up what that looks like. And then they practice it over the course of the year. And some people don't ever do their stand and delivers because they're just not ready yet. And then others do it a little bit over the course of the year. But most of the stand and delivers happen at the closing retreat. And usually it's because of what happens at Migis. It's the fact that they're together celebrating, that they celebrate the projects that they worked on so hard. Then they have a great meal together and celebrate that and celebrate each other. And then when they get up in the morning, they know it's the end, and they really want their voices to be heard. They really want everyone in the class to understand who they are, what they deeply care about, what they need from each other to connect and make those things happen. And so Friday mornings are really amazing.
I bet. May I ask, who do you work with primarily while you're here at Migis? Who takes you by the hand? Colby.
He has been leading me around for a long time. He's a great guy. Just a great guy.
And what have you found in your experiences here that makes it different from other places that you may have tried to have a similar event, or the different places you've met in Maine for similar size groups and things like that? What is different here?
The thing that happens at Migis that doesn't happen anywhere else is the special care that the staff gives us. And they do it in the background. They don't do it in any way that anyone notices, but it's just always perfect. I mean, when we come into Boulders to do the work, and people are doing their stand and delivers and doing their project presentations, people are in the background, always refreshing. The treats, always making sure the coffee's hot, always making sure that what they bring in is warm and smells wonderful, and that it's very fresh and beautifully presented. And then the most spectacular thing is the rooms. When you get into those rooms and the fire is already built and all you have to do is light that match, and the night may be cool, but you open up your windows and you hear those loons and you get under those wonderful, wonderful handmade quilts, and you're so warm, and if you're not warm you can turn a heater on that'll have you warm in 2 seconds. It's just, it's magical. Migis is magical. And the first time that I came, I remember for some reason there must have been a really big pine needle fall that year, because all of the paths were lined with pine needles, and it just smelled like those balsam pillows that you buy, you know, to send to the kids because it reminds them of Maine.
And it does.
And you know, just it's rustic, but it's still perfect. And that's what makes Migis different than anywhere else. We go to lots of rustic places. We go to Newry for the Outward Bound sometimes, and it's beautiful. Maine is beautiful everywhere, but it's very rustic. There isn't any creature comforts. Here, it's rustic, but there's so many creature comforts. So I call it rustic chic, and it's icing on the cake.
Yeah.
It's the icing on the cake.